Ash Reacher's love interest changes every season, but adapting 2 books can finally end this frustrating trend. Amazon Prime Video's Reacher has proven to be one of the most faithful adaptations of a literary character in recent years. Alan Ritchson's imposing physicality and stoic charm have brought Lee Child's iconic drifter hero to life with near-perfect accuracy. Yet, for all the show's strengths, tight plotting, brutal action, and a deadpan sense of humor, it has one glaring inconsistency that frustrates longtime fans: Reacher's revolving door of love interests. Season 1 introduced Roscoe Conklin. Season 2 brought back Neagley, only to sideline any romantic development in favor of brotherhood and vengeance. Now with Season 3 adapting Persuader, a book with no strong romantic through line, the question looms: will Reacher ever have lasting emotional stakes in his love life? Surprisingly, the answer might lie in the show's structure itself. While Reacher adapts a single novel per season, there is a unique opportunity to break the mold and finally address Jack Reacher's emotional core by combining Echo Burning in one shot 2 novels with deeply contrasting but complementary female characters. Together, these stories can provide the foundation for a more permanent romantic arc, giving Reacher a meaningful emotional anchor and freeing the show from its frustrating new girl every season formula. The problem with Reacher's one-and-done romances: Jack Reacher, both in the books and on screen, is a drifter. He moves from town to town, hitchhiking or taking buses, solving problems and vanishing without a trace. This nomadic lifestyle is a core element of his identity, but it's also the very thing that makes his relationships so temporary. On screen, this has translated to a pattern. Each season introduces a compelling female character who becomes emotionally or romantically entangled with Reacher, only for her to disappear from the story once the season concludes. In Season 1, Willa Fitzgerald's Roscoe was a standout. Tough, smart, and emotionally grounded, Roscoe wasn't just a love interest, she was part of Margrave's heart. Her chemistry with Reacher was electric, and her final line, "If you wander back, come find me," felt like a promise. Yet she's entirely absent in Season 2. Season 2 leaned more heavily on Neagley, played with cool precision by Maria Sten. In the books, Neagley is a platonic partner, his trusted colleague from his military police days, and while fans wondered whether the show might steer their dynamic into romantic territory, the series stuck to the original tone. Neagley was there for the mission, not the man. This rotating cast of love interests might work in isolated stories, but for a serialized TV show, it creates emotional whiplash. It also limits Reacher's emotional depth. He saves lives, solves murders, and crushes bones, but when it comes to love, he's a blank slate season after season. Fans want more. Why Echo Burning and One Shot are the perfect pair? The solution may be deceptively simple: adapt 2 books in a single season. And not just any books, but Echo Burning and One Shot, which offered 2 of the most compelling women in Reacher's life, Carmen Greer and Helen Rodin. Echo Burning, the 5th book in the Reacher series, is an emotional departure from typical Reacher plots. It's less about conspiracies and shootouts and more about moral ambiguity. Carmen Greer is trapped in an abusive marriage and recruits Reacher to protect her and her young daughter. Their relationship is complicated, emotional, and steeped in unspoken pain. Reacher doesn't fall in love in a traditional sense, but he connects deeply and protectively with Carmen. It shows us a more vulnerable side of him, one capable of genuine empathy and emotional commitment. On the other hand, One Shot, the basis for the 2012 Tom Cruise film, introduces Helen Rodin, a defense attorney trying to save a man accused of mass murder. She's intelligent, sharp-tongued, and morally driven. Helen's connection with Reacher isn't just romantic. She challenges him intellectually and morally. She makes him think about justice, rather than just enforce it. Their dynamic, while flirtatious, is more about mutual respect and passion, and yet it sizzles with tension. Combining these 2 characters into a single season would allow Reacher to explore love, loss, and moral conflict in a richer, serialized way. How the show could merge the 2 stories. At first glance, Echo Burning and One Shot seem incompatible. One is a domestic thriller set in Texas, the other a sniper mystery in Indiana. But a talented writing team could find ways to thread them together. Here's how. Act 1, Carmen's call for help. Reacher on the road again, ends up in a dusty Texas town where Carmen Greer spots him and asks for his protection. The show could maintain the essential setup. Carmen is married to an abusive man from a powerful local family, and Reacher agrees to help her. The first few episodes could focus on him integrating into the Greer household, uncovering layers of abuse, lies, and danger. Act 2A, link to Helen. Enter Helen Rodin, not as a defense attorney, but as a federal investigator or journalist looking into a connected case. Perhaps one of Carmen's abusers has ties to a broader criminal conspiracy, a shell company involved in gun trafficking or illegal surveillance. Helen arrives in Texas chasing a lead, and Reacher crosses her path. Act 3A, new case, new stakes. Once Carmen's story is resolved or tragically ends, Echo Burning isn't known for its happy ending. Reacher and Helen pursue the bigger case together. This leads into a retelling of One Shot, recontextualized as the deeper thread that began with Carmen's predicament. Reacher's emotional baggage from Carmen's story would make his bond with Helen more potent, more earned. By the season finale, Reacher could face a choice. Does he keep drifting or does he stay? What this fixes emotionally. This dual adaptation would achieve several important things for the show. 1. Deeper character development. Reacher is often portrayed as emotionally stoic. But showing him process Carmen's trauma, protect a child, and later engage in meaningful ethical debates with Helen would humanize him. It would give Alan Ritchson richer material to explore beyond punch first, speak later. 2. Consistent emotional continuity. Fans wouldn't feel the frustration of watching Reacher bond with a woman, only for her to be erased from continuity next season. Carmen's story could haunt him, and Helen's presence could challenge him. The impact would linger. 3. A long-term love interest. Helen Rodin, especially in the hands of a strong actress, could be the first woman to genuinely match Reacher. She doesn't need rescuing. She brings her own agenda. Their romance could be slow burning, maybe even unresolved by the season's end, but the connection would be real and worth revisiting. 4. Serialized payoff. If the show adapts Bad Luck and Trouble or 61 Hours Next, Helen could return. She could be Reacher's off and on partner, popping in when the case aligns. That kind of character, one who lives outside his world, but can be part of it, would enrich the series and anchor Reacher emotionally without compromising his drifter lifestyle. The fans deserve more than just fists. Amazon's Reacher has done so much right. It's brutal, it's smart, and it captures the pulpy brilliance of the books. But one area where it could evolve and deepen is in how it handles Jack Reacher's love life. Viewers have shown they're willing to follow Reacher anywhere, even when he leaves their favorite characters behind. But there's growing fatigue with the show's disposable approach to romance. By fusing Echo Burning and One Shot, the writers could finally break this pattern. They could give us a season that's not just thrilling, but emotionally resonant. They could give Reacher the chance to build something that lasts, even if it's complicated, even if it's unconventional. After all, even a lone wolf can feel the pull of home, even if home is just a person.